Welcome, I'm Sean Barker, the Assistant Executive Director of the Shingo Institute. Now, before I begin, I'd like to thank the wonderful people of O.C. Tanner for sponsoring all of the Shingo Award trophies that we have been giving out at this conference. We didn't get a chance to recognize our recipients in a setting like this in 2020, and we're excited to be able to do that throughout the next couple of days. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the Shingo examiners that assess the organizations we're honoring today. As you may already know, the time these examiners spend on Shingo assessment is all voluntary. We thank them for their expertise in this process. The Shingo Institute would not have made the impact that it has today without these individuals and the organizations that support them and that they serve. Now, very briefly, for those who may not know, here's the difference between a Shingo Bronze Medallion, Silver Medallion, and the Shingo Prize. The Shingo Bronze Medallion recognizes the exceptional hard work of building an organization's culture towards strong use of tools and techniques for business improvement. The Shingo Silver Medallion signifies an organization that has continued maturing with primary focus on tools and systems in which those tools work for improvement. And of course, the Shingo Prize is the recognition of organizations that have managed through hard work and long persistence to establish a culture rooted in principles and that push behaviors ever closer to the ideal. The Shingo Silver Medallion is awarded to organizations that are well along the transformation path and heading in an appropriate direction as it relates to principles, systems, tools, and results. Behaviors and measures show results from a focus on key systems. Significant progress has been made with respect to frequency, intensity, duration, scope, and role of the behaviors evident in the organization's culture. Achieving this award shows the hard work and accomplishments by creating systems of excellence that are aligned with Shingo guiding principles. And now I would like to recognize Analog Device International, Limerick, Ireland, with the Shingo Silver Medallion.
So the ABCDs are analog devices, if you like, definition of the culture that currently exists within ADI, that we've had for the last 50 years, and also the culture that we believe will keep us and sustain us for the next 50 years.
Back in 2015, we went out benchmarking other companies in terms of our Apex program. We found when we went out that some of the big companies in the country were using a model called the Shingo model. This model focuses more on people than on the systems and tools that we use, and we felt that would have been benefit to Analog at that time because it was something we were missing from our operation. Over the 5 years implementing the model, we've seen some great benefits for both our employees and for the business. In terms of the business, we've seen some improvements in our productivity and reducing our costs and making us more profitable. For the customer, we're delivering more product to the customer than we've ever done before at a better quality level. And for our employees, they say it's more like a community that we work in now than a big corporate entity.
For a long time at Analog Devices, we've recognised that our people are the key ingredient in producing excellent business results. Our main objective is to foster a culture and behaviours that bring out the very best in our employees.
Build great teams.
Learn from others.
Share knowledge.
Be engaged, enthusiastic and involved.
Listen and encourage everyone's ideas.
Communicate openly and honestly. We strive to create an open environment in order to develop people so that they can reach their full potential. We enable and we encourage every employee here to sit on employee forums where they can share their opinions and encourage them to get involved in our diversity networks.
The challenge for us coaches and mentors is to find ways to involve and engage employees, to empower them to solve their own problems, and to create a culture where we're continuously improving.
As a result of strong coaching from my manager, it has enabled me to communicate better with our team and in turn has increased productivity and engagement.
Act with courage.
Welcome change.
Challenge and question each other.
Own your actions.
Treat everyone with respect.
Remain positive.
Inspire others.
So continuous improvement is absolutely embedded in our DNA here at Analog Devices, and we look at it under three main headings. Firstly is improvement in our operations. That's improving our cost, improving our quality levels, improving our productivity. Secondly is improving our products and our processes, because as a corporation we release hundreds of new products every year because that's exactly what our customers demand. And finally it's improving the capabilities of the site, and most importantly the capabilities of its people.
In recent years, Analog has undertaken operational excellence, operational efficiency, and Shingo has become a model that has supported us very well in developing and outlining those needs.
For myself, I suppose CI means that it allows us to do things we usually wouldn't do, like update specifications within the fab, and it makes definitely our work that bit easier inside.
We've adopted total productive maintenance, or TPM, as our primary maintenance methodology. So we currently have 12 projects in progress across various tool sets, and these are being driven by equipment maintenance technicians that range in experience from 2 years up as far as our veterans of 25 and 30 years experience.
We always have had a continuous improvement philosophy core to the group, but now there's an added discipline to that with the Shingo journey. We have weekly meetings. Out of those weekly meetings, there's a core set of activities for the week. We have weekly huddles where we review those weekly actions as well as looking at some of our long term. The Shingo journey has also has provided a catalyst for all the group to be green belt trained, and we're applying the kind of skill sets and scientific problem solving in both short-term and long-term projects. So DMake primarily is the primary path or vehicle we use for some more strategic long-term projects, and we use a PRSR format typically for our more short-term and more immediate things. So overall the Shingo journey has been a very positive thing for the device engineering group.
Drive for excellence.
Know and understand your customer.
Take pride in your work.
Improving the job is the job.
Follow existing standards.
Accept feedback.
Drive improvements. Say thank you.
Innovation is a team sport. We need everybody in the organization engaged, feeling that they're valued, making a contribution, improving little things, improving big things, being open to new ideas, looking for new opportunities to improve, new opportunities for our customers to develop new technology, and then feeling valued having done that. And by that combined effort of utilizing the totality of what's available to us, the talents of all our people, that we will get the best business results for both ourselves, for our employees, and for our customers.
Create the future.
Accepting on their behalf is John Liddy, Site General Manager. John, do you have a few remarks?
Yes, thank you, Sean. I'm delighted to accept the Shingo Prize on behalf of Analog Devices, and especially for the team here in Limerick who have worked so hard to make those achievements you've just seen in the video. The journey to our next level of enterprise excellence has been both enjoyable and challenging. The Shingo model at the core and the people in the Shingo Institute have played a major role in getting us to this next level. And I'd like to offer a special thanks to Sean and to Mary for all their help, all the emails and all the support over the last number of years. Thank you so much. Many of the challenges and things that we had to change, the structures we had to implement under the Shingo model are now helping us in very demanding business environment at the moment. And I think it has made us more accomplished in how we handle those extra demands. So it has really brought value to the environment and to the organization. I especially want to thank our team here in Limerick for their dedication and support. It was unbelievable. It was a real team sport, and everybody put in a tremendous effort. And there is no doubt in my mind, the value of all this is in the people, and it depends on people, and they have come through on this occasion. In conclusion, I want to thank Jony Kelly, our Enterprise Excellence Manager, who led us on this journey and did an absolute superb job. I think he was ably assisted by some people along the way, namely Ailish Henry, Dermot O'Neill, and Sean Kelly, who also chipped in here and helped us on our journey. So I'd like to thank you. It has been a major improvement on where we were. It has brought some great benefits to the site, and we're seeing those now on a business front. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John, and congratulations to your team for their extraordinary accomplishment. As we close, I challenge your organizations to continue to improve your culture and challenge for the Shingo Prize in the near future. Congratulations to you once again. We're happy and proud to add your company's name to this prestigious group of Shingo recipients. And now we'll turn the time over to Jony Kelly, Enterprise Excellence Manager, to hear more about your success and your road to the challenge for the Shingo Prize. Jony?
Thank you, Sean. Let's share my screen here. Okay, Mary, is that okay?
That looks good, Jony. Thank you.
Well, hello, everybody from sunny Ireland. We were debating there whether to say good morning, good afternoon, or good night. So I'll say good morning to all the people that are here on the call. It's always an honor for me to represent Analog and to tell people our story when it comes to Shingo model. Personally, myself, I've worked in Analog since 1982. Started here as an operator and worked in production for the best part of 20 years. And I'm a true believer, you know, when it comes to leading and managing people, that you can't do this on your own. It's really about your people and the quality of the people we have working here in Analog Devices. So what I'd like to cover today is really exceeding our customers' expectations utilizing the Shingo model. I'm going to cover the slides, but I just want to call out Kieran Horgan, Fiona Keogh, and Michelle Flaherty for their contribution to the slide deck I'm going to share with you today. If you have any questions, Mary's going to help me with this at the end of the presentation, so feel free to ask any questions you like. So the agenda is I'm going to give you a quick overview of Analog Devices. We're probably the best kept secret out there, and that everybody on the call probably has about 100 devices of ours in products that they use every single day, but probably haven't heard of us. We're then going to go down through the enterprise alignment. I'm going to talk a little bit about the voice of the customer and getting that message to our employees. I look at CI adaptability, and as mentioned in the video, we talked about ABCD, ideal behaviors. And as we're all aware, a key component of the Shingo model is the ideal behaviors and the culture we're trying to build on the site. So we have a nice case study here that kind of demonstrates application of CI principles, but also the reaction of our team and the behaviors that they displayed. Again, in the video, in the cultural enabler phase, I just want to talk about the employee and the employee as a customer. It's kind of, I always view the people that I work with as my customer. So in terms of their careers and their development and their learning, giving people opportunity to progress in their careers within the organization. And then finally, I'm going to share some really exciting news that we have in terms of customer value in the future in our Catalyst area and where our customers are going in terms of quality and supply. So ADI at a glance, we were formed in 1965. We're based in Norwood, Massachusetts. We have nearly 16,000 employees now. We have facilities in 30 countries around the world. And really, for the point of the presentation in terms of customer expectations, we have 125,000 customers across the planet with 45,000 different products. We're listed on the NASDAQ. We have 45 design centers, believe it or not, around the world. And our global manufacturing is located in the US, Massachusetts, California, and Washington. We have our facility here in Ireland, and we have one also in the Philippines and in Malaysia. Our revenue last year was $5.6 billion, and our goal over the next 5 years is to grow that to $10 billion. Our Limerick campus, I put a little map of Ireland here for folks just to show you where Limerick is. It's down in what we call the Midwest of Ireland. We're here since 1976. So we have a big birthday coming up in 4 years' time. In Limerick, we do both design, research and development and design in one building. And then we do manufacturing in our other building. So we do wafer fabrication and wafer probe and test in our other facility. We're a 24/7 operation. We have 48,000 square feet. Employees on site, we have 1,300. 600 of those are involved in manufacturing. The other 700 are involved in research and development and design of new products. We have 300 products, or 300 production tools in our operation, and our process steps run up to 1,200 steps per product. Believe it or not, we produce 450 million microchips per year, and that comes off 75,000 wafers. So we're not a single process facility. We're not an assembly facility. We're like a big lab, and we run multiple processes. So we have 240 variants in our processes with 7,000 unique unique products made here in Limerick. What our products do, and as I mentioned there, each and every one of us, the world is being driven by signals and measuring and capturing signals. So whether it's self-driving cars or the Internet of Things or Industry 4.0, you need microchips that capture the real world that we live in, the analog world, that have the ability to convert those signals into the digital world, which is the electronic world. The electronic world consists of ones and zeros, whilst in the real world, temperatures fluctuate up and down. We have pressure, we have speed, we have temperature, all these signals that we want to measure. So our microchips basically sense, connect, measure, interpret, secure, and power the products that we use every day. So when you look at our customers, both here, Earth and beyond, we have autonomous driving and machines. So 5G technology is enabling Tesla and other companies to have self-driving cars. Digital health, everybody has a tracker or a device on their wrist. Industry 4.0, I was listening to the talk last night the guys gave, and really it is the future of where we sense and take live data off our machines in production, so we can tell in advance before a machine is going to go down. So if we're seeing excess vibration and so on, the signals coming back tell us in advance that the machine has a problem. And again, we're very much into the environment and the automotive electrification. Again, a huge number of microchips going into cars. So we're looking at about 8,000 signal measuring devices going into the average automobile at this stage. The cars and the buildings won't be able to talk to each other without 5G and network connectivity. So we're heavily involved in that space as well. And then, of course, immersive consumer experiences and devices. So I said, right, our products have left the planet, right, in that in Perseverance and Mars, we have a number of components made here by Analog Devices in Perseverance on Mars. So as you can expect, quality and reliability has to be top. You can't go and fix it. So we are recognized as a world-class supplier, and the main purpose of this slide really is to give you a feel of some of the customers that we have out there in the market. Now, we're what they call a tier 3 supplier. So we supply components to Ericsson that sell them on to Vodafone or different companies and so on. So in terms of supply and ensuring our customers get the right components at the right time is really critical in terms of recognizing our performance. Our values and where it comes to the Shingo model and the Shingo framework, as John was saying, when we looked at it back in 2014, and we looked at the Shingo principles and the Shingo model, and then we looked at our values as an organization, then we said there was direct alignment between the two. This alignment enabled our entire management team here on the site to choose the Shingo model as the foundation and framework on how we were going to run our business over the next 5 to 10 years. I've identified the 6 values of us as a corporation, and I flagged the top 3 here with the red box, right? And what I'm putting in here is fostering innovation and lifelong learning, delighting our customers with superior quality and sustainability, and develop people to their full potential. And as we work our way down through the slides, you will see a very strong focus on people development and them reaching their full potential, which is really a key component that drives me every day when I come here to work. So let's start with enterprise alignment, right, in the model. And we talk about creating value for the customer. So we've made reference in the introduction to 25,000 customers. So you might ask yourself, well, how can you create value for such a huge number of customers and listen to what their priorities are and what's important to them? So what we do is we use a model called TQR-DCE, and the image here is on our wall opposite our Wait for Fab facility. And here it says create value for the customers. And the categories that we look at is their technology, the quality, responsiveness, delivery, cost, and the impact in the environment. Now, our customers evaluate us under these 6 categories. And under these 6 categories, they want the best technology and they want to be the niche technology. So whether you're a Samsung or a mobile phone maker, you want the next generation of chips and so on. So they question us on whether we can provide them with niche technology. On the quality front, I was listening to Ken's keynote speak there, Ken Snyder's keynote speech this morning, and he was talking about seeking perfection. In our industry, seeking perfection is one of the key terms that we use in semiconductor. The reason for that being is that a lot of our products go into tools and applications that would threaten life if they weren't reliable and so on. So whether it's planes that are flying or self-driving cars or so on. So really in our industry, we are down at levels of parts per million when it comes to the quality of the products that we make. And we are now moving into the space of parts per billion. So parts per billion in the signal processing realm is around 200 to 300 parts per billion. So for every billion microchips that are being made by our industry, 300 may fail in the field. Responsiveness and delivery, we'll make reference to this in our in the quick look at the case study. But again, you know, it's when you go out there and you buy something and you're a customer and somebody commits to give you something at a certain time, whether it's a new car or a new automobile, and you say, right, I'll have that car in 2 weeks' time. And then when something goes wrong or there's an issue, and the responsiveness of your customer coming back to you or the supplier coming back to you, and the speed at which we can fix your problem, assuming there is a problem, that's really important for these big supply chains that are trying to keep the supply of their products, their tier 1 products. Cost, you know, everybody is interested in cost and can they get it cheaper? And then more and more, it's the impact in the environment of the product. So really, when our customer looks at us, they say, right, they measure us in these 6 criteria, and then they look at our competitor and say, well, can they do a better job? So we get regular voice of the customer feedback coming through in these categories. What we do then in the enterprise alignment space is we take that feedback and the customer value informs our strategy. So if our customers are telling us we're performing poorly on quality or they're slow in technology, that feeds into the 4 pillars that our global operations and technology drive. So people development, as I said, is a key component because of the complexity of our business and the various roles that are there. We have to develop our people as best we can. Differentiating technology, operational excellence, and then supply chain predictability. So these are the 4 pillars of strategy that we operate our business on. So in terms of a functional strategy snapshot of how that feeds in from the customer directly into how we're running the facility, we can see here we have our vision of a high performance workforce delivering growth via new technology and the excellent business results. We have our 4 strategic pillars of people development, technology, operational excellence, and supply chain. And then as a senior leader team, what we do is we develop the objectives and aims and the ambitions for the business over a 5-year plan. We then share that 5-year plan with all our employees and with all our managers. And from that, we develop what we call our BMP. The BMP is generated every 12 months. And it's the current year goals, the breakthrough goals, the key functional projects, and the areas of focus for the site. And I'm delighted to say when it comes to the communication of this to our employees, John Liddy takes the time every year to meet everybody on site to explain what the BMP is and why our customer feedback is driving the actions we need to take to move the site on. Fundamental objectives of the facility are the same in most manufacturing facilities, that safety comes first, then the quality of our product, then the output, then the value for money. So we don't call it cost reduction. We know we need to spend money to develop the business. So we call it value for money. And then of course, our new technology. So to put it in a graphic and to finish up on enterprise excellence, right? How we share this with our employees. Now, Kieran Horgan, who I've a picture of here, has done Trojan work in this space over the last 5-6 years. And across our entire enterprise, we have 18 area boards or 18 functional groups. So we take the global strategy coming from corporate. We look at the site strategy plus our VOC feedback from our customers. Then from that, we develop our BMP plan and our key performance indicators and our key behavior indexers. And they're basically presented on our area board in each department across the site. From the area board, they're working boards. We hold our daily huddles where we review the performance. Are we ahead or behind? We give recognition to our teams and we reference back to the strategy and goals of the site. And that feeds through to our place of work. Now you might be saying in terms of COVID, there looks like an awful lot of people there around huddle boards and area boards. So with COVID, we've had to adapt that where we've gone to virtual area board reviews by the senior leader team. So in fairness to our teams that are working off-site at the moment, they update their material on their area board and the senior leaders make the time to go online and discuss the performance of the teams virtually. It's working really well for us. So that's enterprise alignment. And from enterprise alignment, we move into continuous improvement. So traditionally where it works is as we develop an area or as we go into the red on one of our KPIs in the department, it kind of drives our continuous improvement work. So what I would like to do at this point is just talk a little bit about behaviors. And in analog, we use a thing called ABCD leadership characteristics. And the 4 leadership characteristics are act with courage, build great teams, create the future, and drive for excellence. And what we did about 5 years ago at this stage is we gave those 4 headings to 400 of our employees, and we asked them to make them relevant to them. So we didn't want to come down from above that these are the ABCDs and you go and change your behaviors in relation to these 4 categories. So our employees through workshops came up with their 16 behaviors that everybody that comes onto our site is familiar with. And it's basic as saying thank you, ask if you don't know, welcome change, own your actions, take pride in your work, inspire other people. So in that process, the ABCDs are the property of the people that work here on site. So what I want to do is just share with you a quick case study where those behaviors have been demonstrated. So as part of an introduction at the top here, I'm showing the supply chain. So this facility here in Ireland, we're the wafer fab process. From that, we ship our product to the Philippines, where the product gets assembled and tested in Malaysia and the Philippines. And then we test the product there before we ship it to our customer. So if we go back to March of 2019, the supply chain was full, and you could see here that we were ramping. Then COVID hit here, and what you saw in Southeast Asia was a lot of the assembly houses and test houses shutting down whilst they got people to isolate and stay at home in the early days of COVID. This led to a disruption in supply to our customers. Now, our customers, from the time they placed an order, expect to get their product within 6 weeks. So in this scenario here, where you see a complete loss of capacity, it's as Ken was saying this morning, it's not small steps. This is a huge step down, having huge impact across the planet when it comes to our customers. So the disruption to supply was huge. So the team set themselves a goal to minimize the customer impact and to adopt the ABCD behaviors. So our team, led by Aileen O'Brien, Ravi, and Tim Spooner, basically looked at supply chain adaptability and anti-fragility. So here we are with people movement restrictions being introduced, employee safety measures being introduced. The supply chain model changed within 2 days. Prioritization to key programs and COVID-19 products were our priority. So we make microchips that go into ventilators, CT scanners, MRI scanners. There was a huge surge in the number of computers required for people to work from home and so on. So what we saw by day 5 was that the customer expedites went through the roof and the demand went through the roof. So what happens is you get a panic coming in and you get panic orders. So our customer service planners team hit a barrage of requests coming in from our customers. So applying scientific problem solving and coming together as a team, they looked at the communication and alignment with the factory and the supply chain. So for the team, what I really liked about here is they actually reorganized the lines of communication, and they actually went out to the regional reps around the world and asked them to prioritize the processes that needed to be prioritized to minimize the impact on our customer. From that process, they ended up rebalancing our capacity in line with the new reality. So basically over a 9-day window, they acted with courage in that we had to change the process that we were running in the supply chain. They built a great team in that they got all stakeholders involved, including the customers, the site reps, the customer reps around the world, and coordinated their team. In terms of creating the future, the fixes and the changes that they made in the process here will stand for us in the future in terms of the way we support our customers, and then driving for excellence within 16 days, right? We were basically back to ramping up our capacity, and we were back to normality within 6 months. So as a team, I think our planners really here in Limerick, all working off-site at this stage, did an exceptional job here in delivering to our customers. So the lessons learned, and this is once the Black Swan took flight, you can see as the team worked through the issues, you can see the capacity in our test increasing and the output increasing to day 180. And you can see since then, the continued ramp. So the improvements they made have continued to improve our capacity and our output in supplying our customers. What's one of the team, there's an Irish phrase that there can be no strength without unity. And really what the team in their reflection came back and said, because all stakeholders were involved within the supply chain and the team, basically it speeded up change and the agility and the ability to adapt to the crisis that occurred. This is our CEO, Vincent Roach. And really, as we go down through these slides, to thrive and prosper, we must learn, anticipate, and adapt faster to emerge stronger and drive profitable growth. So I think really this team has demonstrated a fast reaction, how it adapted, and how it's demonstrated future growth. When it comes to cultural enablers and people, and when we did do our Shingo assessment, ADI here in Limerick, we scored very high in this category. I'm very proud of that because people is what makes a company. And you'll see it in the comments from our CEO to our VP to our local management. You know, people are the key component in what we do. So our customers and value agility and adaptability. I just threw this slide in here again. It's from our CEO, where the grow our talent is a key component to what we do here in Limerick, and it's leadership at every level. So when we look at developing people, we're not just looking at our engineers or middle managers, we're looking at our MTMs, we're looking at our technicians, engineers, anybody in the organization that wants to grow their talent within Analog is given the opportunity to do that, and the resources are made available. This will improve our agility and accelerate the impact. I'm proud to say Analog is a member of the Responsible Business Alliance. This is the alliance that was put together by the electronic and semiconductor companies on the planet to ensure that we're ethical with our employees. We have good labor law, health and safety and environment, and we score really well with the RBA. And some of our customers will insist on us being RBA certified to actually supply them with product. So the commitment to the development, again, from Vincent Roach, you know, the speed in which we learn enables us to adapt quickly and change our needs for our customers. And then Steve Latari, who is our Senior VP of Global Operations and Technologies, recognizes that employees are our most valuable assets. So we do have a learning and development philosophy, and one of training, education, and development. Our employees are proactive about increasing their proficiency in their current job, so be prepared to take advantage of career development opportunities when they arise. Fiona Kyo is our learning and development manager, and she looks at it, it's just as important how we learn as an organization as important as what we learn. And we use the 70-20-10 model for learning. So 70% of learning on the job and learning by the surroundings and special projects, functional teams, and so on. But just as important is our exposure to what others are doing in the education and formal education. So in the 20% space, I think in the early days of Shingo for us, we sent a large number of our employees down to Noel Hennessy in Lake Region to see his application of the Shingo model in Lake Region. And a lot of people say, well, why didn't you send your managers and why didn't you send your senior leaders? We wanted our employees to go and see how really good companies manage their people and develop their people and communicate with their people, and to come back and share that with our leader team, which that cross-functional group did. And that really set us on the journey and the path that we are on today. When it comes to continuous improvement, again, one of our teams were benchmarking in Denmark, and they came back and said they were a great company, that Lumberg, I think it was, and they had a CI academy where people could join up, get accreditation, go on their CV, and be formally certified and recognized for their effort in their education. And in fairness to John Liddy, whether it's a white belt coming all the way up to professional doctorate in Lean, he's always been an advocate of making it formally recognized. So what I say to our employees, you know, should you ever choose to leave Analog and go forward, by engaging in continuous improvement and helping us help the business and getting the formal accreditation, it helps you in terms of your long-term career outside of ADI. This is my favorite quote. It comes from Bernice O'Sullivan, who's one of our MTM's manufacturing team members down in IPD, where she said every day is a school day in Analog, right? Where you come in and you learn something new every day, and there's always something changing and so on. The image on the top left is we do a CI celebration every twice a year. And again, unfortunately, due to COVID, we haven't been able to hold them this year. But in fairness to our teams, we've ran virtual CI celebrations where the teams have zoomed in on their projects and explained their projects and so on. And again, John and Shane hand out recognition and certificates to our people as they complete their work in the academy. Another aspect of learning is what we call the knowledge pipeline. When it comes to the colleges and the schools, because of the unique nature of the business that we do below, I believe that our MTMs should have the opportunity to become equipment technicians and so on. So in fairness to Fiona and the team, they've developed 2 apprenticeship programs now called Industrial Automation Robotic Apprenticeship and Industrial Engineering Apprenticeship. And the guys that are featured here, the 9, have gone through the process, and Donna and Nicola have just are in the process of graduating. It's a 3-year program. The guys go to college for a certain period of time. They come back in, they work with our equipment technicians. It takes over 2 years, and at the end of this, they're guaranteed a job as an equipment technician on completion of their program. So this is giving, you might have 10 years experience as an operator and then the technical abilities to move on to be a technician if that's what you desire to do. And here's a program that allows you to do that. Finally, talking about customer value in the future, I've noticed in the conferences a lot of talk about Industrial 4.0 and what is the future of work and what is the future of customer value is really a question we would ask ourselves. So in the traditional model, we try to accelerate our customer's journey from research to production. So in this scenario, you deal with a customer, it could be somebody like Ericsson, and our design engineers sit down with Ericsson, and Ericsson say, well, we want to go to 6G or 7G in terms of communication. So we do the research and get the education, we evaluate design options, we design products, and eventually they go into production for that customer. What we also have is what we call the garage. We call this internal innovation. And as Dennis Doyle was saying at the end of the conversation there, that innovation is a team sport. What we're actually doing here is we encourage our engineers to think outside of the box, right? And when they come to us with really good ideas, we create this kind of incubator where we can conceptualize their ideas and test their new ideas. And from this, we take those ideas and we put the resources of ADI behind the idea, and we mentor and partnership them through academic institutions and entrepreneurs. And through the garage, great products come out. Where the future of customer value is what we call the innovation ecosystem. So in ADI in Limerick, we have just launched what we call our Catalyst Center. And really, Mike Morrissey is the guy that's heading up this new initiative for us. And it's really, how do we get the innovator, the customer, the ADI engineer, all in one location to come up with solutions to problems and problem solve. So this facility is about 100,000 square feet. It's on our campus. It was designed to collaborate, connect, and co-create. Now, with permission from Mike, I'll give you one example. We're working with Johnson & Johnson in terms of Advanced Technology Center, and they're working with the analog ideas engineers and developing robots for cobotics, where basically the distance and the flight of the robot has health and safety concerns. So they're basically working in this facility with analog engineers and Johnson & Johnson engineers and the robotic engineers all in one location, problem solving in one site within Ireland. This program is supported by Horizon 2020, which is the European Union funding, IDA Ireland, Tyndall Institute and Science Foundation Ireland also back us in this new development, and it's really exciting and reaping great rewards. So in summary, and I wrap, ADI adopted the Shingo model 5 years ago, and it's a fundamental framework for delivering operational excellence. It is the framework and it is the foundation of how ADI runs its operations. For our colleagues in Boston, our colleagues in Washington and in the Philippines, I think ADI, when it comes to Shingo application, we developed this model across all our manufacturing sites at the same time. And we are collaborating and talking to each other as we work through the systems and tools in support of the Shingo model. The Shingo Pride principles, as I said at the outset, aligned with the ADI's core values, right? So going forward, we believe the model has to demonstrate agility and adaptability to address rapid change. So Industry 4.0 and the introduction of cobotics and robotics within manufacturing and the nature of manufacturing is moving at an enormous pace at this time. So from the early days of assembly operations and people being involved in the making of products, there is a movement to how do people interact with robotics and cobotics, and how does that change the fundamentals of how we run our business. For our customers, they're acutely aware of the next disruptor in their market. The end users of our product, you can see it in the automotive business, you know, who got into electric cars first? Tesla. Everybody else is trying to catch up with Tesla. The big guys like Volkswagen are now moving into electric cars and so on, but they missed the step to get in there, and they weren't quick enough in getting in there. So everybody is looking over their shoulder for what's the next thing. So it's our role to support and build confidence through collaboration and innovation. Without the microchips that we make, we can move on to technology. And finally, I'm going to finish with Ray Stata. Ray Stata is our co-founder and our chairman. He lives in Boston. He's a great innovator and a great supporter of new innovation in the Boston region. But we take our lead from him. The development and motivation of our people remains a primary management responsibility through analog devices. And all our CEOs and all our senior leaders have carried that banner up over the 40 years that we've existed. So Mary, that's it. So I'm open for any questions. Should there be any questions out there?
Thank you, first of all, Jony. I really appreciate that. If you have questions, feel free to add them just directly to the chat Zoom, or you can put them in the Whova app. I do not see that there's any questions right now. We can just give it just a second though.
No problem. Actually, I have a question for Sean.
Sure.
Has the leadership team in Shingo, how do you view the future of manufacturing and the direction that it's going in with the Shingo model?
With the Shingo model, so you know, so I'll kind of slant it in that direction. I think we're definitely still picking up steam with the Shingo model. I mean, even though it was released, you know what, almost 12 years ago now, and that it's still, we're still impacting a very small group of manufacturers, right? And we want to get a much larger group of not only manufacturers, but spread across the service industry and healthcare, and that as well. We still are heavily manufacturing based, but we are making good inroads into the service industry and into healthcare as well. So we still recognize that we have a long way to go to make the impact that we would like to with the model. We are making you know, small clarifications in that along the way, and as Jony knows, because I know he was there with me in Ireland, we've even put some new workshops in there that you know, we're working through with our workshop series. We have some books coming out as well. So all of these will help, you know, with the recognition and the ability for us to spread the Shingo model across the world. So that's, of course, you know, the goal that we have, but we have a lot of work to do, you know, so we're really looking forward to that, and that's always what we're pushing towards. So but appreciate your presentation today, and how you really described how you built it within your organization. For those who don't know, Johnny's been with Analog for a long time. He's been there since 1982, so he's had a long career there. You know, and this has been a great effort. So I think you have a couple questions now, Mary.
I do. Jony, can you see them in the chat, or would you like me to read them to you?
My glasses aren't that good, Mary.
I'll read them to you. I'll read them to you. What would you say is the most rewarding aspect of implementing the Shingo model in Limerick?
For me personally, Sean was saying, when I joined Analog in 1982, we had 300 employees. And everybody knew everybody's name. Everybody knew who was married to who. We knew our business. We were a community, right? We looked after each other's backs. We all did different jobs, different roles, but we respected the role that everybody performed within the organization. And I think most people will find that when you get to 1,000 employees or more, you lose that connectivity with people. So I was delighted that, you know, when we went back to our people after implementing the model, a lot of feedback I got from people was saying, Jony, you know, this is like it was in the old days. You know, there's a collective there, you know, it's brought to different departments, it's broken down to silos, you know, we're talking to people that we've never talked to before, and so on. So I was really delighted personally that we got some of that community spirit back into Analog.
Perfect. I have another question. They're asking, culturally, between the different sites, how difficult was it to align on common principles and behaviors?
We were very conscious when I talk about ABCD behaviors, right? The ABCD behaviors originated from our VP, our global VP for Global Ops and Technology. So he had the facility in Boston, he had the facilities in California and Washington, plus the one here in Limerick. Culture, we are all different. And our employees went through the ABCD process first and had the workshops in defining what culture was we wanted to run here in the facility. And when I went to Boston, somebody said to me, oh, you've got that job done. You know, why don't you just share that with us and we'll share that with our people? And we went back and said, no, that is the wrong way to do this. You've got to get your own people at a local level to go through the same process that the guys in Limerick did and so on. But for my enterprise excellence colleagues, whether it was Megan Cromer in Boston, or Tanya, or Tina Cortese at the moment, when we actually look at the behaviors that the employees identified across the planet, you could say, there was huge familiarity between what each team came up with. You know, people want to be thanked for the job that they do. They want to be respected for the role within the organization. They want to be listened to, and so on. So whether you're an operator in Boston or in Camas or in Limerick, you know, the human desires to be respected in the job and to be valued and to be listened to and have the ability to contribute to what we're doing and the ability to learn, I think is really where behaviors comes to the fore. We lost one of our VPs recently there, Peter Rail. And we got a video there the other day, and he was talking what pressed his buttons for his 30-odd year career in Analog was to come in every day and make a contribution and to learn something new. And I listened to that and I can resonate with that, and it's a really powerful sentiment. I'm going to contribute and I'm going to learn something new today.